and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and tonight we have a very special VIP in the building, Isabel Drean. She is a director, producer, screenwriter, and so much more. So we want to give her a super warm welcome. We're going to talk to her, have a great night. Hello, Isabel. How are you? And welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm super happy to be here.
I'm super happy to have you. You're an absolute delight and so beautiful. And I know you're in Los Angeles, but we're going to talk a little bit about Canada. And before that, I would like to give a very special thank you and acknowledgement to Patricia Chica for introducing Isabel to us. Patricia is a wonderful and amazing director and filmmaker. And she has her chi energy, which we love. And isn't that nice? We just want to say hello to Patricia, right, Isabel? Hello, Patricia, and we love you, Patricia. Isn't that right?
Yes, Patricia and I have a lot in common. We're both from Montreal, and we both, directors and writers, and being in LA, so we're both bi-coastal. So yes.
She is wonderful and one of a beautifully dear friend and one of the best film directors for New Hollywood. We love her. Okay, so welcome, Isabel. This is your night. It's about you, and this is your special night. You are very special as a filmmaker, and I want to talk about what's on the screen right now. First of all, before we get into your background, you specialize in rom-coms, coming of age and holiday films, and with high concept stories. So we've got two on the screen right now, The Holiday Swap and Christmas on the Rocks. And I love these posters. They're beautifully done. You know, they're like the traditional Hollywood studio posters, which I love. And a lot of people collect, you know. So can you tell us a little bit about the Holiday Swap and Christmas on the Rocks?
Well, so I'm I write Christmas holiday rom-coms. I've had quite good success with it. I've had 5 movies made, produced over an 18-month period. So as a screenwriter, so I don't direct those and I don't produce them. I write them. I work with Lane Schefter Bishop and a company in Canada, which is now has been dismantled, and I think it has a new name, and I'm not sure what the new name is, but with a Canadian producer, American producer. And I fell into it. I was writing horror and thrillers. And I wrote a pilot with Lane, and at the end of 2019, she came to me and said, "Hey, how do you feel about writing a Christmas movie?" And so I was like, "Well, I could try." And so I wrote one called Secret Santa, and the producers loved it. They greenlit it, and then they liked what I did, and they kept coming back. So and because of the pandemic, we got delayed for 1 year, but in 2021 we got 2 made, and then in 2022 we got 3. So it's been a really good partnership. So 5 movies over an 18-month period.
Fantastic, and congratulations on that. I think I saw Secret Santa. That was worldwide, right? I mean, that was.
Yes, actually it was. And that one is an original. The other ones are adaptations.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yes.
This is amazing. You must feel so appreciated because, as you said, you were writing horror and then you have this opportunity come up and it's perfect for you. You have been able to write. Not everyone can write holiday movies, but we love holiday movies. I mean, I adore them, and I know so many people, right? It's a big genre.
People love them. I didn't know this. Now, I mean, now, I teach how to write a Christmas movie in 21 days to aspiring writers, because it is a really good gateway to the industry. They're lower budget, they don't need stars, and they write, and it's a 1-year cycle. So in March, people kept asking me, and I decided to do a master class, and from there it took off, and now I'm doing boot camps. And so You know,
Okay.
it's like I fell into it, and now it's like it's the gift that keeps on gifting, right? It's like it's
Absolutely.
amazing, yeah. And so a lot of people love them. Like 80 million people watch them every year. They make about 180 movies every single year. So it's been, yeah, I mean, it's incredible. So there's a lot of opportunities for, I don't know if there's a lot of aspiring screenwriters watching the show or listening to the show, but it's definitely something to think about.
What a blessing. And this is phenomenal. How can people take your classes, Isabel, if they're interested?
Yes, so I have a website called 21dayscreenplay.com. And on the website, all the information about the class and the master class and the boot camp is on there. And I have a class coming up on October 14 and a boot camp coming next week, but the boot camp sold out in like 24 hours. So now I have a waiting list.
Oh,
So like
that's
I said, it's like I didn't expect any of this. I was, I wrote one and then it just kind of snowballed. And I think when you have success, it's like this vibration and this energy that keeps attracting opportunities, and now I try to help others to do the same.
oh, this is delightful. This is so, you're so special, and thank you for doing that. It's wonderful to hear all the things of how you're helping others. Yes, you've been blessed, you have this gift, and it's your destiny. I say that here and there on my show when I resonate with the people who are, this is their gift. This is what you should be doing, Isabel. It feels so right in every part, in every way, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean, it's like sometimes, what is it, John Lennon that said, life happens to you when you make other plans. It's like, but at the same time, this is such a great opportunity. Uh, and now I'm having other opportunities come my way that are not in the Christmas genre, and starting to write thrillers again and coming of age. This year I wrote 3 coming of age, and so it's kind of I want to go back to directing. So I think all this success is bringing me, it's like you take a door opens, you walk in, and then you keep building from there. The careers is, everybody's got a different path, and you have to see where it takes you.
Yes, wonderfully, 100%. And Isabel, how did you meet Patricia Chica?
Well, Patricia and I are from Montreal, and so we met in 2010. Actually, in there's a women director organization, and they do these get together. And I just came back, so I lived in Asia for 10 years before deciding that I wanted to make movies. I mean, it's a long story. So I started as an actress in New York and LA, and in the 2000 I gave up, and I was like, okay, that's it, I have enough. I went on a trip around the world, ended up in Asia for 10 and stayed there for 10 years. I opened the first licensed bookstore of Laos, and ended up staying there for 10 years. But then the bug of making movies, when you have it, it's really hard to get rid of it. So I was peaceful for 10 years, but then it kept, like tugging at me. And I thought, like, if I, like, it's the question, like, if at the end of your life, if what regrets will you have? And I thought, if I don't make a movie, or if I don't make movies, I will regret it. So I packed my life and then moved back to Montreal, and I met Patricia right when I came back. I launched a web series, like a digital series, like a streamer for short content for Montreal in French. So I launched a platform as soon as I got to Montreal and started working in the web series world, and that's how we met.
Incredible, incredible. And you know, it's in your you have such a passion for filmmaking and cinema and film. And it's so lovely to see. So I love that you met Patricia because it was, you know, it's like-minded goes to the same and the same vibration and the same frequency, all of that good stuff. So
And I moved to LA in 2013, and I think she moved to LA in 2014. So we've had that, our path keeps crossing.
Isn't that wonderful? I love hearing stories like that. It's meant to be. And another author who you may know, James Doc Mason, he is very excited to watch this interview. He made a comment. Isn't that nice? Tell us how you know James Doc Mason.
I love James. He was just actually, he came to watch my live webinar last week, and he's been so supportive. I love him. And he's got a great book out now, so like about log lines, and he's doing so well. So it's always nice to see your friends doing great.
Yes, it's Mastering the Log Line by James Doc Mason. Check it out. It's really great. But it's wonderful to hear his support of you. And isn't it a nice feeling with
Yeah.
other authors and filmmakers to have that support? It's like an acknowledgement saying, you know, it's like a pat on the back, isn't it, Isabel?
Yeah, I have to tell you, like at the beginning of the pandemic, like the isolation, I really turned I really turned to Facebook, and started making friends on Facebook and being like the biggest cheerleader of everyone, because it
Oh.
just made me feel so good, and I mean, coincidentally, this is when my career took off, and I always think like it's the energy that I put out there to support others that like just came around and blessed me with so much luck and opportunities in the last few years. But it's been and that's how I met James, actually, through, I mean, a lot of the people I meet through Facebook.
Yeah, it's a
But we're
great
supposed to meet in real life. We're supposed to meet in real life very soon.
it's a great place. I'm so thankful for Facebook as well. And yes, I thanks so much for sharing about through the pandemic and that you reached out. And I think a lot of us did at that same time, Isabel. And it's so good to do that, supporting one another. It definitely is the way. And but I did want to mention a little bit. You touched on a little bit about being an actress. You said you had enough. Is it really hard? It's hard to be an actress, isn't it? Tell us about that.
Well, I think I always wanted to, like, I wanted to make movies, and as a woman, I guess my thought was, okay, I'll be an actress. It never came through, in my mind that I could be a director at the time. But so I grew up thinking I'm going to be an actress. I'm going to make movies, and the biggest movie fan, like watching everything, even from a very young age. And then, so I come from a town that no one speaks English in. So I learned English, and, I have a paper in my handwriting saying I'm going to move to Los Angeles at 10 years old.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. It was
Wow.
my biggest dream, move to LA. And I had no idea what it was, but basically, and then I was fascinated with the Actors Studio and Lee Strasberg. And at the time, the method was the very popular technique. And so I moved to New York, and I went to Lee Strasberg, and I studied theater. I founded a theater company, did some theater there. And then I moved to LA. But at the time, I have an accent. I mean, it's just the way it is, but it's not typical French, and it's not, it's kind of. And at the time, I used to have a coach. I was even lesser, but still there. And so I would go to French role parts, and it was like, you're not French enough, and I wasn't American enough, and it was
Oh.
just like, it became very, very frustrating. And
Mm.
And there was a moment where I was like, okay, I got enough. And I just left, and I was like, I need a break. So I went
Yeah.
around the world, and I thought I was coming back, but I didn't. I didn't for a long time.
Amazing. And why did you pick Asia?
Well, I was traveling alone, and I always dreamed of going to Asia and Thailand. So I landed in Thailand. I didn't have like the plan exactly. I mean, I went to Europe, and then I went to Bangkok. And from there, I had multiple options. I was thinking Asia, India, Philippines, Indonesia. And then people were talking about Laos because Laos just opened up the year before to tourism. So it was very authentic. And on a whim, I just went for a couple of weeks. I ended up in a small town called Luang Prabang for 2 days.
Wow.
And I fell in love with the place. And after 2 days, I pushed, and then I stayed a week. And a week later, I had rented a house for 10 years because the lease over there are very long. So I rented a house. I paid 2 years in advance. I basically took all the money I had to rent the house, and then opened a bookstore and met the right people. I mean, it was just like a lightning in a bottle. I
Yeah.
felt that I was like a messenger, that I needed to be there.
Yeah.
And I thought I'll be there a few weeks. Then it turned into a few months, and then it turned into 10 years. And two
Um,
kids. I met my partner, my ex-partner, but we, ended up 2 kids, 4 businesses, 50 employees.
wow.
And then I realized, like, oh, okay, I've done that. Now I want to do something else. So I just I mean, I still have my bookstore. I sold the other businesses, but right now it's closed since the pandemic. We have to reopen. But I've been
Amazing.
so busy making movies and teaching and all that that I have to find the time. But I wrote a movie. I wrote a screenplay about this experience of me moving to Laos and meeting this young boy who loved books and becoming his guardian. And so I wrote a coming of age about that, and that's my passion project for it's called Love Letter to Laos. And this is the one everything I do is kind of like to get to that point. I get to that one.
So that's what you're working on now. What a beautiful story. And it's based on, part of your life is in it. So this is going to be a wonderful, I can't wait to see it and hear more about it. Is it in the, what stage is it in
Right
pre-production?
now it's development. No, it's just
Development.
development. I'm still working on the script. Now I have a couple of people that are joining. It's still early, but these very personal stories take a lot longer than 21 days.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
It's
I've been working on it for a couple of years, but now I went to Cannes and met a lot of people.
yes.
I have, yes, I have people that are gravitating around. So maybe very cool stuff to announce soon. But we'll see. We'll see what.
Great, great. I did want to, since you brought it up, that was one of my questions on here. You went to Cannes and it was incredible. I saw your photos and I was so happy to see your Instagram posts and your stories. And I felt like I was a friend, at a distance, but a friend along with you. And you were taking us along, all of your friends. It was it was beautiful what you did because you shared the challenges and the wins and the beautiful experiences that you had. So thank you for that, Isabel.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was my first time. So this year I went to Sundance for the first time, and I went to Cannes for the first time. Sundance was oof. Sundance was tough. The climate, I mean, I'm from a very, very cold town, but I'm not really good with the cold. I don't know if I'm going to go back to Sundance, but definitely going back to Cannes.
Yeah.
Cannes was absolutely extraordinary. The people, the energy. I mean, if I had known what Cannes is, the experience, I would have gone a long time ago.
Really?
And I'm going back this year because I'm last year after Cannes, I was a guest speaker at this retreat, the Good Word retreat in Greece. It follows right after Cannes. And last year I was a guest speaker. I taught my master class, but next year I'm going back as a full mentor. So I'm going back to Cannes again and
Wow.
to Greece. So if people want to come to Greece with us, they can go to the Good Writer Retreat. I think no, it's the good. I forget their URL, but just Google it. It's the Good Writer Retreat, the Good Word Writer Retreat.
The Good Word Writer Retreat. That's
It's in Patmos in Greece from May 28th to June 4th. It's like a whole 6 days, and it's amazing. And the people, Jen Grisanti is a mentor. Taylor Thompson from The Chosen, Marty Young King, Stacey Hawkins. I think we're 6 mentors. It's going to be fantastic. Kathy Yonek is the organizer, and I apologize, Kathy, for screwing up the URL. But anyway, it's a really great experience, and everybody last year had such a great time. So I'm excited.
wow, sounds super fun. And I hope that, but my goodness, I would love to attend. I know that there's going to be many people who are interested in this. Isabel, what a fabulous event. So thank you for sharing that with us. And let me just circle back real quick to the holiday swap and Christmas on the Rocks. Can people see these on Netflix?
No, they were those are with Up TV, and I think they removed them during I don't know if they're gonna re-release them.
Oh,
I think they're coming out in Canada this Christmas, but to be honest, I have no I have no idea, because even when I want to watch, like I want to find them, I haven't been able to find them. The streamers, they take things on, and they take
yes,
them off. So
they
I don't
do.
know, but I'm assuming logically that they will come back uh
Right.
Christmas time.
I hope so. And so, for all of you out there that love holiday movies like I do, check out the Holiday Swap and Christmas on the Rocks, and of course, Secret Santa.
Yes,
Right?
Secret Santa is not available in the US, but it's
Oh,
available in Canada. But I mean, of course, that's my favorite one because it's my first one. But
yes,
um,
yes. Um, well, we love our holiday movies, so it's still try and check it out. So you might find it somewhere on the internet. You can always try. And I wanted to ask you about your first placement with the Nicole Fellowship.
yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, so I started as a producer director. And so the poster you see now, Manigance, was a web series. We got funding, and I met this writer, Georges Ghislain Auprette, who pitched us a story, and we produced the first season, and we had such a big success that we had a season 2. It's like a murder mystery. I mean, funny enough, now it's very, we did it in 2011, but is very similar to the Glass Onion concept.
Oh,
It's a guy who invites 5 of his friends for his murder, and so it's very similar. It's very similar. A
wow.
lot of the things that we had is in the movie. Ideas are in the cloud, and I think not to say that that what is it, Ryan Johnson took from us, but it's very similar. Murder mystery, but it was a very contained murder mystery, like an Agatha Christie kind of thing. And I mean, that's I love that. And at the time I was like, oh, nobody's done Agatha Christie in a while. I really wanted to do in French, and so we had a lot of success with that. And then I moved to LA with my kids, and not having the support, it was very difficult to direct, and so I turned to writing. And so I had written a screenplay in 1999 with my mother.
Oh,
And so and at the time, anyway, it's a long story, but Miramax was interested, but I was done with Hollywood, so I just left and never followed up with that project. So I took the script and I did a rewrite, and I applied. So that was March 2015, thinking, okay, I'm going to start writing. If I can't direct, at least I can do something. And I sent it to the Nickel Fellowship, and I placed the quarterfinals. And yeah,
Wow.
the first 3 months. So that it was like a sign for me, like, okay, I think I can do the writing thing. And so
Yeah.
I got a manager and started. And this is how I met Lane, who I did the Christmas movies with, and my show Manigance got optioned by Warner Brothers. It didn't turn into anything, but I got my first pitch in Hollywood. We sold in the room, so that was exciting.
Amazing,
Yeah,
amazing,
so
and congratulations. So that is very prestigious, the Nichols Fellowship. And so
it's
you
the
have,
number one.
sorry?
It's the number one screenwriting competition for unproduced screenplays.
Amazing, amazing. And Isabel, you have a beautiful accent. You know, I'm part French, so you're my French sister. We're sisters. I love that, don't you? And I'm very proud of my heritage, and I'm very proud to be French, part French, and I love it. I believe it's a beautiful language, and you have an exquisite accent. I love the way you talk and speak, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank
So.
you, making me blush.
Well, it's the truth. So my next question, Isabel, is what do you love about the film industry and what needs to change in the film industry?
How long do we have?
As long as you want.
Well, I mean, I love movies. I love how, I mean, movies have impacted me in my life. You know, I, I remember my childhood through the movies that I've seen, like all the movies that took me in different worlds and different, all the lives that I could never live, but, I can live them through the movies. So, I mean, I absolutely adore movies, and and I still watch movies almost every day. Um, the business, I mean, I think right now we're in a very difficult time. I mean, now we're out of, for the writers, out of the strike, but our fellow actors are still fighting for what they deserve. And I think the streamers kind of played a little trick on us with, like, at the beginning when they came in, they threw money at creators and had, people just embrace that new system, thinking, okay, we're gonna, less studios, maybe more streamers, and now we're kind of in a different place. I think independent films need to make a huge comeback. I think this is what's going to save the industry. But creativity and filmmakers work for no money. We all know, like, work for no money. They will do everything. They will sell their house to make a movie. They will, like, work in under extremely hard conditions. So I believe that spirit is going to save the industry. I think, like, people are going to keep making movies. People are, because the love of movies is so strong. I had a whole life in Asia, and my love of movie brought me back and take a risk and sell my businesses just so I can have a shot and try to do this. Can I really do this? And a lot of people feel that way. Like, if that they get to the end, they will have regrets. They want to make their movie. They want to be heard. We have a voice. We want to be heard. And no matter what happens, I believe that people will keep making movies. Artists need to be heard. Their voice need to be heard. And during the pandemic, I saw sometimes these posts about how doctors and nurses and how actors and people made movies that weren't important. And yes, I mean, of course, first responders are important. But what got me through the pandemic, while I was stuck in my house, were movies and TV
Yeah.
shows and
Yeah.
stories. Like, we need stories. Even when you know, I mean, as the longest time in human beings, people would sit around fire and tell stories. So
Yeah.
we need stories. We need storytelling. We need to be able to escape our reality and visit other worlds. So I do think that we need to have diversity more different voices. I think that women's place in the industry as directors are not getting the support that they should,
Mm-hmm.
because I see movies and I'm like, wow, like how amazing that these directors get so much support. But when directors are supported, they get to do great things. But if you never get the support, then how can you? And so I believe that women should get more support. The numbers are still going down. It's ridiculously small, and
Mm.
people and in people's mind, it's because they think that women are not as good directors. It's not the talent that's not there, it's the support and the financing. And even in competitions, I see like men place more, but the reality is because there are more men reading those scripts, and women's stories don't, a lot of times, not all, and it is improving, but men readers tend to favor men's stories, so women don't perform as well in competitions. And it's like, so competitions should have parity in readers,
Yeah.
and I think like it's something that, we're paying for these competitions to exist. I think people should start asking parity in the reader pool, like, anyway. So I'm very passionate about this, but yeah, I think it's I mean, I love what I do. I'm inspired. I think I'm an optimist, and I think movies change people. I think movies change the world in small ways. And the big millionaires of this, the billionaires of this world, are not going to crush our flame.
Yes, great points, Isabel. I agree with you, and I love your sentiment and your sensitivity to the fact of women supporting other women and helping other women, because that's very, very important as well. We, as filmmakers and producers and writers, do have a place in this world, and we respect the men, but you're right, we need more opportunity for women's stories directed by women, produced, written, starring, and production crew by women, because we can do the job. We are very capable, and I believe what you said. I love your points, great points, and I share your sentiment very deeply as well. Um, I did want to ask you, circling back to cons, can you share with us? Oh, cheers. I'm going to cheers, Isabel, cheers. Thank you. I wanted to ask you, going back to cons, just for a moment, what was your favorite memory there?
Oh, okay. So it was an incredible experience, but there was something magical. So um, there's a group of people, of artists. It's called the Misfit House. They do these underground parties. And it's a very special, like you walk in and they are pop up. So they do it in Sundance, and they do it in Cannes. And so I did something when I went to Cannes. I was afraid that I was going to have the same experience as Sundance. So months before I knew I was going, I created a Facebook group, going to Cannes 2023, and invited people because I wanted to learn from other people. Like, what do I need to do? It's very intimidating. I mean, there's thousands of people, so many parties, so many things happening, so many events.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to navigate is it's something that is very intimidating. And Sundance was a very traumatic experience for me. I went around the world for a year by myself. I lived in Asia. I built like, but Sundance was one of the hardest experience I've ever had. It was crazy. We didn't have signal. It was freezing. No Uber. Like, it was just, and anyway, just navigating the parties was just awful. So I was like, okay, I'm not going through this again. So I created this group, and suddenly I thought maybe I'll have Patricia and 10 other friends. And I ended up with hundreds of people joining. And then I created a WhatsApp thread, because in Europe, people communicate, more in WhatsApp, and it's more of a live thing. And the group kind of blew up. We had hundreds of people, but the quality, and it was just so authentic. The communication was just incredible. So I decided, okay, the first day we'll do a happy hour with a friend of mine. I was like, okay, let's organize a happy hour. Maybe we'll have 10, 12 people, but it will give us, a few friends that at least will know people.
Yeah.
I organized this at the Irish pub the first day, 4 o'clock, and I'm thinking, my friend's like, "Are you sure?" I said, like just take a couple table, because people don't show up. This is a fact. People say, "Oh, I'll come," and we ended up with the bar went. We packed the place. There was people all the way to the on the sidewalk. It was like 60 to it was crazy how many people showed up, and so it created this atmosphere that was so like a community. And I met this amazing woman called Angel. She's a real angel, Angel Williams. And she's like, "Oh, are you coming to this party tomorrow?" I was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get in." It was the Ramfis Entertainment launch. And so she invited me and the friends. And I was like, "Okay, I'm coming." So I went there. And it was just amazing. It's this Cuban, I think his name is AJ Leon, and he's a Cuban artist. And he had like a violinist and a cellist and a rapper and painters. And it was just and the vibe was just amazing. And I took my daughter's 20, to Cannes with me, but she wasn't coming to me. Like, she was doing her own thing. And the next day, I get a text from Angel and says, "Oh, we have something special for you tonight. Please come." And so I bring my daughter. First time we go out together, to this party. And it's like there's a line around the block, and they let us in, and we go in. And just like the best atmosphere. And suddenly at one point during the night, AJ taps on my daughter's shoulder and say, "Please come." So they take us downstairs, and we go underground, and it smells like mildew, and we're like, "What's going on?" And we end up underneath, and it's like a little chamber with candles. And
Wow.
these two musicians, one cellist, one like gifted, like prodigy.
Amazing.
And we sat there, and AJ served us Dom Perignon, and we watched a private concert. And it
Wow.
was just like my daughter, and it was so beautiful. My daughter and I had tears flowing, and AJ was
Oh.
telling us about life. And my daughter really needed to hear that the world is beautiful and
Hmm.
there's magic. And it was just so magical. I will never forget. And my daughter also. And it was the first time we went out together, and it was just so this con will always be special to me. And I made friends with all of the Misfit House, but shout out Misfit House. I love them, and it was just magical. So anyway, so I was like, it was kind of surreal to be in con and have this treatment. And it was just like AJ was like, we only do this once a night for
Oh.
special people. So we felt very special.
Oh, that's lovely. What a beautiful memory. And, there are good people in the world, and life is beautiful, and there is magic. There's magical people, and, magical things that happen, and blessings that happen in the world. So I'm so glad that your daughter heard that, because we need to hear that once in a while, just like your daughter did. And because it inspires us and it keeps us going. We all need a little bit of inspiration now and then. Isn't that right, Isabel?
Yeah, and the magic. I think that's why people love Christmas movies so much.
Yeah.
It's like that feel believing that people are good and that there's magic in the world, right? And when you experience it in real life, then it's like, and you meet real angels, you know, it's uh,
Yes.
it's special. So for me, con has been an incredible experience, and I'm definitely looking forward to go back.
AJ sounds like a lifelong friend, and I just want to say hi, AJ, from one AJ to
Yes.
another AJ.
That's
Isn't
right. That's right.
isn't that interesting? Isn't that kind of
I didn't even make the connection. Yes, AJ Ball and Angel. Shout out to them.
isn't that neat? I think that's really super fun. Um, so I did want to ask you, what is now? This is like a philosophical question, but I wanted to ask you, what is you're very successful as a filmmaker. So for all the young filmmakers out there who aspire to be like you, Isabel, what is the secret to being a filmmaker? What is needed? What is the requirement?
Ooh. I mean, first of all, you need the passion. You need to have that flame that I was talking about, because if you don't, this business can be very, very rough.
Yeah.
People won't, put the white gloves to tell you things. You get criticized, you get no's, you get rejected. It's a very tough business.
Yeah.
And often the conditions are not great. You have to pay your dues and you have to work long time, and there's no guarantee. You can't do this business for the result.
Yes.
Have to do this business because it makes you happy,
Right.
and there is nothing else that you could do. Like for
Yeah.
me, I was successful. I was a very successful entrepreneur, but it didn't fulfill me. I was very, like at the height of what I could do, but people were like, oh, you're so successful. I was like, yeah, but there's something missing.
Mm. Hmm.
It's like, and I started back from zero, and it takes a lot to do that, especially when you're not 20. But there's nothing else I want to do. There's no plan B. If you have a plan B and you have to have a vision of what you want, but it needs to be that daily life in this business needs to make you happy. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, if you find it, if it makes you miserable, maybe you're in the wrong business. Maybe you're in the wrong place. A lot of people, I think, are not cut out for this business,
Mm.
because you
Absolutely.
have to have tough skin. You have to be resilient, and
Great
you can't
answer.
take things personal.
Yes, not take things personal. Great answer. You have to love it. You have to have a passion for it and persevere. And you have done that so very well, Isabel. And that's in your spirit too. That's in your soul. That is so much an essence of you. I can see that. You're very focused and artistic and creative, and a little bit of luck helps, I think, you know.
Yeah, I think vibration can make you
Yes.
a magnet. I often, I use, you can call it law of attraction, of manifestation, or whatever, but I believe that your mindset is everything. A
Yes.
growth mindset, and being positive, and really being clear of what you want, and having it come to you. And I see that all, like I see, I often hear, people go, oh, how do I go to sell my screenplay, how do I meet producer? And I'm like, maybe you're asking the wrong question. Maybe think, how can producers come to me? you know
Yes.
and people don't, like, of course, at the highest level people go to screenwriters, but I'm like, it's okay at every level. You can
Yeah.
see the opportunities come to you, and
Right.
people, and often this is what happens to me. Like, people come to me because I see them come to me, and not me go to them. And it's just a philosophy that I live by, to try
Absolutely.
to attract the opportunities to me instead of me running towards them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's that abundance type of mindset. And if someone doesn't have that, it's easy to do. You just start being more confident and thinking in abundant ways. I do have another question I want to ask you about artificial intelligence. It's a hot topic. AI. And I wanted to know how you feel about it. And then I want to mention something as well. So over to you. Take it away, Isabel.
AI is a controversial topic right now. I know a lot of people are against it. I think so. I used to be a computer consultant, so I worked for Apple when I was 20 years old. So I'm a geek. I love technology. So I don't think AI is going to go anywhere. I think we have to learn how to use it to enhance the human experience. I don't use it for screenwriting because it's really really bad. But I think I use it for some tasks that are like boring tasks and technical stuff. I think it's a good assistant, for certain things that I don't have to spend as much time on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people should not be afraid of it. I think people should learn how to use it because it's here to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to see what's going, I try to keep up with the technology. I mean, it is moving very, very fast. I use Midjourney to do posters for my pitch decks. It's not to sell anything, but it really, like it's not going to go out in public, but it really is a good tool to make beautiful decks, movie posters, like images that represents what you're trying to express as an artist. So it is a good tool for that. Emails. It's very easy, to make emails with ChatGPT or whatever. There's many, but I mean, it's going so fast that it's hard to keep up. There's a new app every single day, and I'm glad that they're putting regulation. And I think the government should, make regulations so people don't have to be afraid.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of AI that people are using that are not scared. It's just because they're not using the AI. Grammarly is an AI. There's a lot of AIs out there. Like there's a lot of AI that we're using that, already.
Mm-hmm. In society.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, it's just that now it's getting, once you're talking about people's image and people's voices, and this is a different, like, this is kind of the sci-fi horror movies of the future. But, I think, there's goods and bads and everything. But I think for screenwriting, I don't think that AI can understand the nuance of the human experience. It's too complex. And maybe they'll make like bad movies and bad screenplays. I don't know. I'm curious to see where it goes, but because I'm a geek, I'm kind of fascinated by it all. But what's the fun in what's the fun in not writing if you're a writer? Like, I don't understand it. But
absolutely, absolutely. And I agree. I think government regulations are so important for the writers. And we stand in solidarity with our actors who also want to protect their image and their realness and their branding. So, with that in mind, I wanted to pivot just a moment on this and mention there are some people that want to create AI, non-AI rather, non-AI films. And one filmmaker in particular, director, author, filmmaker, is Justine Bateman. She and Juliette Lewis have created a company called Credo 23. Please check that out if you're interested online. And what that is it is a company that will put a stamp of approval on certain films that have a minimum amount of AI. In other words, the majority of it is a real, let's say real, like, the traditional films with real actors and real locations, not, simulated backgrounds and locations. So for that, I commend Justine Bateman and Juliette Lewis and the Credo 23 company. In fact, I would love to, encourage people to check that out and support that. And if that is in in your interest, then please research that on the web. And I think there's a pledge form that after you've completed your project, then you submit a pledge form, and then it is reviewed, and then there's either a stamp of approval or not. What do you think about that, Isabel?
She's amazing. She came up with a lot of, there was a lot of screenshots from, I think she's on Twitter. I'm no longer on Twitter, but there was a lot of screenshots from things that she was sharing. She's obviously a very smart woman, and it is important. It is important. Like, I think there's a place. I mean, maybe, like I said, I'm an optimist. I think there's a place when we can improve our lives with the technology without having them, this thing take over and replace humans, but again, when I talk about like the flame, I think the human spirit is so strong that I think it will overcome these things and win in the end. But I think there is a place that, like, always in the center, that we can use these technologies to make our lives better, but not overtake the creativity or take over our voice or our faces. That's crazy.
Well, it will be definitely interesting. As you said, you love technology, and we want to see where it goes. We'll have to find out. I do hope the regulations and government come in with more protection for actors and writers and all of that good stuff. I really feel strongly about that. I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to start wrapping up soon, but Isabel, you've been so beautiful. You've been a lovely guest, an absolute delight. Is there a message or someone you'd like to give a shout out to before we give our heart messages?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, yes, I want to give a shout out to my friend Kamal. I know he's having a tough week, but he had good news. So I'm so proud of you. And I think, like, you're an amazing, talented writer, and so happy for all the success that you've had lately. So love you.
Very good. Oh, that's wonderful. We send our best wishes to him, and thank you so much for that, Isabel. How can people contact you? Are you on Facebook, Instagram?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's at Isabel Drean, Isabel Drean, my full name, everywhere on all the platform, but I'm not on Twitter. Uh, but please, find me. Facebook is the one that I'm the most, because it's I love Messenger. But Instagram, TikTok, and find me, and my website, IsabelDrean.com.
IsabelDrean.com website as well. So that's beautiful. Okay, please support and follow Isabel. And also, I wanted to say from my heart to yours, Isabel, I've enjoyed this so much. You have a beautiful, beautiful presence and energy. And this is just, I'm so happy. You've made me very, very happy tonight. I love this show. And I'm going to start with our heart messages. I usually do each week our heart messages, meaning it can be a statement, a quote, or something that's on your heart that you just want to share with the world or anyone. For my heart message is it's never too late. It's never too early, actually. It's never too early to buy Christmas presents for your loved ones. So I know I know it's only October, but have you seen in the stores, there's Halloween stuff, which I love, but there's also some Christmas trees. Have you seen them? They're up, and there's some Christmas ornaments. I love that too. So now's the time. If you see a wonderful gift for someone, please go ahead and grab it. And it's never too early to start shopping for Christmas. So that's my that's my heart message for this week. Isabel, over to you for your heart message.
I'll never have a day without Christmas mentioned for the rest of my life. It's like it follows me everywhere now. Well, for my heart message, I'm going to say to open your heart and be grateful for everything we have. I know a lot of people think that, oh, You know, it was so much better in the past. There's a nostalgia for the past, but when we actually look at the past and compare to what we have now, technology, science, everything that is happening, and this generation Z that are so mind blowing. I have two at home, and you know, like, just be grateful for all we have. People are living to be 180 years old, making movies, being on magazines. We're having a time where we have, you know, we are adding 30 years of our lifetime to be active. 30, 40, 50 years. That is unheard of. Even when I was a kid, it was unheard of. So we almost get two lifetime in one. So make the most of it.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Make the most of it. And I just that's the perfect sentiment and the perfect message. Thank you so much, Isabel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's been so much fun, and I've enjoyed this so very much. And I hope you come back in the future, Isabel, again. We'd love to have you on and talk about your new projects and what you have going on. And thank you so much for being so delightful. And Isabel, until we meet again, au revoir.
Au revoir.